frontier. This is Football Daft with Stephen Purden,
midfield dynamo and average actor,
Chris Toll,
target man, suspicious character,
and
With the top end of Stevenson,
Welcome to Football Daft, the daftest Scottish football podcast around. My name's Stephen Purden and let's welcome the team. First, a man who this week has been working through Scotland World Cup documentaries. It is Grado. You're enjoying that, haven't you, mate?
Oh, mate, I tell you what, see if you are looking for something to watch on YouTube, watch Craig Brown's 1998 World Cup diary and watch Euro 92, Andy Roxburgh's.
Oh, mate, was that the Andy Roxburgh doing the one you sent on the video?
Pure David Brent, it's brilliant.
There's
a bit where Andy Roxburgh's Gene up, he's talking about the tactics for the next game and all that, and then he's like, yeah, let me show you a wee tape. You might think I'm daft. Let me show you a wee tape. Hey, watch this. I'm being serious. I've never saw this before. And he sticks on a tape and it's like, NASA, first landed on the moon, 1962. Now this is all this Neil Armstrong push. And then at the end it goes, but this all couldn't be possible without Scotland. And then it like goes to like all the offshore oil rigs and all that, right? And like pictures of Highlands and all that. And it lasts like about 90 seconds. And then he turns it off and he's like, yeah, what'd you make of that? I should have taken about that. So, tell you, we're an important wee country. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in the back of your head.
But never mind the fact that we fucking invented the thing he was watching the video on. Know what I mean?
That's true. And now let's welcome a man after his absence last week who, contrary to belief, has not taken up the role of Hoopy the Hound at Celtic Park, or Hoopy the Puppy we were calling him. It is Chris Toll. Sorry about that, Toll.
Aye, listen, I told a wee lie. I says I was going to my uncle's funeral, but I was actually away getting photos with celebrities.
Oh, here we go. He's not taking this too good, ain't you know, man?
No, and I tell you what, you're calling me a mark. You're sitting there with a fucking t-shirt with your own fucking name on it.
Let's just explain what's happened. Let's explain what has happened here. Grado and Toe have had a bit of a fallout because basically...
I wouldn't say a fallout, Graham, would you?
But this is a fault, man. It's sure it's gone through all my Instagram pictures and screenshotting them and putting them into fucking... I thought I'd blocked you, by the way, so...
You had blocked me, but that was my burner account, mate.
He's got a few burner accounts. This guy on social media.
I damn a few burner accounts. If he's want a wee tap at him, let me know. All right, me, I've told.
Oh, you played your hand early there, Grado.
You've just fucked yourself there, Grado. I was talking about Toll, man.
Oh, you not got a burner account, Bob, nah?
I wouldn't fucking tell any news or any kind on the podcast if I did, so... John, do you want to explain what the bust-up was about? No, like properly.
The way I see it is that, you know, Chris has started by sending a picture of him with Snoop Dogg saying, oh, look at me with Snoop Dogg. And then Grado's called him a mark. Then Chris has went on to Grado's Instagram and written mark next to every picture that Grado's got with a celebrity.
Right, but wait a minute, John, because I need to touch on something here. Right? Now, Grado said last week, what he forgets is, I was working with all these people. Tell me about the time when you were working with Liam Gallagher, Graham.
Liam Gallagher is only one, however, we were in the same business lounge when we were flying to He was flying to Germany,
all right. Well, guess what? Me and Snoop Dogg were in the same back fucking dressing room.
Can I play your voice?
I done pantomime with Jim Davidson. Fuck it to yous. Right? Right. So what's been happening in Scottish football since the last time we spoke, troops? Toll, right, sorry to hear about Uncle, right, but we've not got your views on Lennon being sacked. Are you happy?
Right. Do you know what? I'm delighted that he's not there
anymore. He resigned. I'm
delighted he's not there anymore. See, about 10 minutes after I heard the news, I was like, I hope he's all right. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hope he's not fucking sitting in the house cell.
Aye. Is that... So did you go down after your uncle's funeral?
No, because he stays in the second floor, so I couldn't look in the window. But anyway, do you know what, Stevie? I'm happy about it. I'm happy for a fresh start, and hopefully they don't rush into this. You know, there's a lot of talk of Maresca, there's talk of fucking even people like Sean Dyche and stuff like that. But I think we need to take our time, make sure we're getting the right person to replace him.
Take your time.
And hopefully kick on for there.
But right, so here's the thing. few weeks ago you're saying they need to act now in preparation for next season. So how much more time do you leave it before you need? Because you keep saying
that's
that
the
you
thing.
keep saying there needs to be
Aye.
a clear out. So you you want it soon, do you know?
Aye, but you know, like I say, is a knee-jerk reaction is what what got us into this position.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Aye.
So
Do you think? Sorry, go to.
we need to just. They're not going to have jumped into sacking him. I think the reason that he was still there was because they're probably working behind the scenes, thinking about who to bring in. I just hope they don't leave it until after the Euros with Steve Clark. You know what I mean? Because we've got a qualifier a week later.
Aye.
So
It's a job that needs started on now, really, innit? But it's like, do you think he's have been, because obviously Brendan Rodgers came about at the right time, didn't it? And that was like a Hollywood signing as a part of the now. It's like, is that what you're expecting, a Hollywood signing, or are you expecting somebody to come in and steady the ship like a Steve Clark and hard to beat and all this pish?
Who do you want, Tol? Who do
you want, man? Eddie Howe.
I think if you gave me the option, I would chuck Eddie Howe on the table, definitely.
Why?
Because I think, although, and I know we've spoke about we need somebody with a bit of a track record, I think what he done with Bournemouth was exceptional, right? And I think he's got that mystique about him, that kind of same mystique about him, because he's really well thought of down in England, even though he got relegated last season. Everybody thinks him as this great coach, and I think that's what we need. We need a great coach. We need somebody that's going to be on the training field, getting the tactics right and stuff like that. And I think he could be the man for the job. The other person who, and I know people are saying no as well, is Frank Lampard, but that's more
box office.
Aye, that's more to do with what he can bring with him, you know, and that would be the best one for Scottish football as a whole, I think.
Yes, I agree.
But for Celtic themselves, I think the best bet would be Eddie Howe. He's got that thing about him, I think.
What about Paul Lambert?
Paul Lambert can fuck off, man.
I would love that. I would love that. That's the one I was kind of wanting. I want Lambert. This Enzo Maresca is the favourite with the bookies. Do you think that's another fucking Pedro Caixinha?
I don't know, because I think he's at Man City just now.
He is at Man City. He is.
You know,
Pellegrini's assistant.
It was Pellegrini's assistant.
Where's that came from? But how can he be the favourite with the bookies?
That's somebody with a bit of inside knowledge in it.
I think he's ready to make that step into management. You know, the way like Gerrard was when he came to Rangers. It was like, say what you want, it came out the blue, Gerrard going to Rangers at the time, and it was but I think, and also Arteta as well, when he got the Arsenal job, you know, he was kind of ready to step into management as well. I think Maresca is pretty much in the same mould as that. So I think that's where that's coming from.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting summer. It's going to be why they ones are going to, whoever he's get in. I don't think it can go on any longer. I think Desmond has obviously been working behind the scenes. I do think he'll get somebody, and I do think it's either going to be Eddie Howe or somebody like Frank Lampard. It's going to be a name.
It needs to be a name, especially like you said. But not just that, but it's, you know, see if you want people to buy season tickets to sit in the house, you need, because the potential's still there that we're not going to be in the stadiums next season. Let's be honest, that is still possible. So, you know, especially with the service that Celtic fans have received this season, our streaming service, the Passport to Paradise thing, has been shockingly bad. They missed the first 20 minutes of the Aberdeen game the other night.
It's just like, I seen my mate moaning about it. He was, wee Sean at my work was moaning about it, saying it's pathetic.
What about Jerry McCulloch? He's good, isn't he?
But, look, we are constantly sitting here talking about Rangers and Celtic. Our very own producer, John, is going to be getting Zoom calls with his friends because League One and League Two clubs can return to training. Hope for us light at the end of the tunnel. What do you think, John? You happy?
I'm delighted that it's back. I mean, it's going to be, obviously the players have got to get back in. Apparently they're going straight back into training, so it'll be a couple of weeks until the league's up and running again. Yeah, I'm delighted that it's happening. You know, delighted for all people like me that sit and wait for that Saturday afternoon. You guys have had it, you know.
You're right, John.
We've not had that. You know, it's been stop-start. And, you know,
Tell me this one, John. Tell me this one. Have you picked another team to support while Falkirk haven't been playing?
I have
Celtic,
not,
obviously.
No. Oh,
Well,
shut
but
He's a Celtic fan.
you like the Newcastle, but do you know?
No, so I worked in Newcastle and for a few years and went to loads of Newcastle games, but it's not the same. It's not the same as, you know, your own team, you know what I mean? Sitting down, you know, like Stephen and you guys get nervous and excited about the game, and it's the same with any supporter of any team. You just wait for that Saturday to come, and you're looking at the team news, you're putting going, who's going to play this week, who's going to do that, how is he going to line up, who, you know, and you wait for that. And you know, it's been different this season, obviously, sitting with a beer and watching it over Zoom with your mates. But, I mean, it's still when Saturday comes, you know.
I'll be honest with you, John, I can't remember the last time I looked forward to a game, mate.
I know. But he's a right. It's like, I remember yesterday morning, I'm sitting, I came back from work, man, and there's like nothing happening, nothing today, and like you're just watching the clock, and then I thought, Rangers play tomorrow night. I was like,
gives you a wee buzz, doesn't it?
What would happen if there was no football? Like, literally.
You would just sit with your new fire stick. So, more
That didn't take long, did it? That didn't take long.
Great news for those supporters in the lower leagues. It's great. But there'll be more football chat, no doubt, on the open line later. And on the big question, we ask, what's the most outrageous refereeing decision you have seen? And our big guest this week is a goalkeeper who had a cult following as Aberdeen's number one. It is none other than Jamie Langfield.
This is going to be good, troops.
Our fantastic sponsors is G4 Claims. And I'm talking really fast. It's 5:10 on a Thursday and the game kicks off, Wednesday, and the game kicks off in 50 minutes. And here's Nicole to tell you what G4 Claims do. Take it away, Nicole.
Hi guys.
Hi.
So a quick brief version of G4 Claims, because I know we're trying to get away from the football. We are an accident management company. It's a full service. If you have been involved in an accident, phone us first. If we can help you, we will. If not, we'll put you in the right direction. If you've been in an accident, it wasn't your fault. You don't want to claim your own insurance policy. You don't want to pay your excess. You want that other person's insurance to pick up that tab. Why should you affect your policy? Use G4 Claims so we can provide you with a like-for-like replacement hire vehicle. We can get your personal injury compensation if required, if you're injured in the accident. If your car is repairable, we'll get it sent to an approved body shop or someone of your choice we can use as well. If your car's written off, we'll recover the full amount for the pre-accident value, so you're never out of pocket. And everything we do is free of charge. We bill it all to the at-fault insurance. So please, guys, give us a phone, 01698 767 172. Call G4 Claims today. Not at-fault claims. Made easy.
The Football Daft open line is on, and anything goes on this open line. When will Rangers win the league? That could be a question you might ask. Crystal, when are they going to win the league?
I don't know. Pretend's back
brilliant. You might want to talk about the lower leagues restarting, or you might want to just ask, who's your favourite Chuckle Brother? All these questions could be asked. Anything goes on this open line, and we have our panel of football experts with us: Stephen Keevins, Graham Goody, and Chris Delahunt. Let's go to our first caller, who is just dropped off. We'll go to our next caller. It is now Craig is the guy that has been Grado's nemesis on the playoff for the last week. And he's back on the show to rub salt in the wounds.
How's it going, champ?
Not too bad.
Craig, you're not on to play the playoff this week. You're on to make a point in the open line. What would you like to say, sir?
I was just wondering about the chap's opinions on the National Stadium. You know, should we still have one? How it's utilised? Is Hampden, worth it?
Aye.
Well, they've bought it now, haven't they? So,
Aye.
but it's shite, innit? Let's be honest. It's a fucking... I hate it.
Anytime we get to that, Rangers get to a semi-final or final, me and the boys get tickets, we're getting there. You shouldn't be feeling shite about going to a national stadium, because the stadiums, the seats are too far away from the pitch. You get the running track. There's no atmosphere whatsoever. I don't know, man. I'm not a fan, but it's a national stadium. There's a lot of history there. There's, you know what I mean? But it should be better, is what I'm trying to say.
I would be quite happy to see them doing a Juventus. Just tearing it down and building a custom-made stadium on the same spot. You know what I mean? Bring it in so that the fans are on top of the pitch. Make it a fucking cauldron. You know what I mean? Could you imagine that for cup finals and for international games?
Like the Upton Park or Tynecastle type environment.
Aye, exactly.
Aye. They're never going to do it, but you know, because they've already fucking refurbed it and all that years ago to make it like a state of the art. But again, it's like, I don't know, man. Any time it comes to that, I'm never looking forward to going to Hampden.
There's been great moments at Hampden. I've loved it.
Aye.
But there's nothing where I can go at. Aye, that. There's Yelovich.
I've had a couple over the last few seasons.
Have you?
I know,
mate. You will be watching Queen's Park, aye?
Well, it's just...
Well, you better make the most of it because it's not going to happen too much often.
Aye, because Queen's Park don't play at Hampden anymore. So shut your mouth, you bunch of bastards.
I was going to say...
drink your juice, Dafty.
Have you guys ever been to Murrayfield for a rugby game?
I've no, mate, and I've been for a concert. But do you know what? See how I remember when Rangers played Hearts here, and my brother says the atmosphere in that game was shit hot.
And that's when we brought Kenny Miller back, wasn't it? And he just came out and he scored, man. I heard my brother-in-law was there as well.
What time?
Was it about 3 years ago or something?
What time?
It's
just because he's brought Kenny Miller back that many fucking times. You
know,
know
it's no, we brought him back. He was out in the cold with Kashinya, then Murty took care and Murty brought him back in.
That's right. Aye.
I mean, the thing is, it's like that.
Well, do you know what? John, who do you feel about Hampden? Because you probably are the most guy, you know. Come on! Come
on, yeah!
Aye.
It's Falkirk's second home, you know. We've been there quite a lot of times. And I don't know.
It's fuck all to do with cup finals. It's because I'm the same week as Queen's Park.
But no, I think the whole fan experience at Hampden is getting out to Mount Florida. It's no great to get to. I think it's just the space between the pitch and the supporters.
That's the problem. That is, I think, the problem.
That's the biggest issue.
How is there not any fucking travel links either?
There's the logistics issues as well. I mean, like, so I'm in the northeast of Scotland, but, you know, you get to Hampden for a semi-final, which I don't think the reward for getting a cup final is playing at the National Stadium, not just for getting to the semi. But I mean, the amount of times that my Aberdeen supporting chums have, you know, can you get the train down because it's 12:30 on a Sunday and things like that.
That was a big problem for the semi-finals last season, remember?
Was it not played at night or something like that as well? It was a Sunday night.
And it was two games in the same day.
Aye.
That's right, it was.
Be honest with you, I would, you know, at the Southampton, you switch the games between Celtic Park and Ibrox, the Scotland games, because both have got a great atmosphere when they're at capacity. I think specific Ibrox as well, because it's so enclosed, you know.
But again, the problem here I think we have is a bigger issue than just Hampden as well, because when you get like your St Johnstones or whatever getting to a final, they cannot fill these big stadiums.
That's the problem. I mean, how empty would the League Cup?
I know you seen it on Sunday there wasn't a cunt in the place.
Craig, thanks very much. Great to have you back on the show again.
Great debate.
Back on the playoff again sometime soon to beat Grado.
Let's start paying this guy a wage.
I've updated my Twitter bio. I'm the reigning undisputed champion of the
Brilliant, Craig. Thanks for coming on, pal.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Ali.
All the best, mate. All the best.
See you later, mate.
Bye-bye.
It's on the open line. It's Scott who's coming on. Scott, welcome to the open line. What would you like to say to the panel?
How you doing, boys?
How you doing, mate?
How you doing, Scott?
Happy 55 months, gentlemen. Well,
wait a minute. Maybe. All right.
Maybe.
Listen to him sitting there. Why he's sitting there with his full podcast get up? Good for you, my man. Check your mic out and all that.
Yeah, I've got one podcast, mate. Aye.
What's it
Give
called?
it a plug. I was going to say that. Don't be so condescending, Tol. He might have his own podcast.
No,
He's got better gear than you, Tol.
Aye.
No, he has.
I know it's a Rangers podcast, though. I'm not sure if you'd be into it, mate, to be honest.
What one is it, mate?
I love them. I'm never off them.
Club at 22.
Right, I'll get a listen, mate. I'll get a listen, my man. I'll get a listen.
Just started, mate. Not been long going. Only 4 months or something we've been going.
Listen, speak nice to the boys and they'll come on it for you.
Aye, definitely.
So I know I'll get a wee bit serious now. So we were speaking on the podcast last night that we done about Patterson. So obviously Gerrard's decided to play him in Europe, but do you think it's right for Gerrard to be continuing to play him in the SPFL? I mean, it's a difficult one. I trust in Gerrard and all that, but I think the fact that I'm even thinking about it and we were even discussing it on the podcast means it's not really sitting right with me.
If I was going to be truthful to myself, I would be. If I said aye, I'd be a hypocrite because our neighbours across the city had various problems, and I was wanting them punished and wanting Aberdeen players punished. So, to be honest, I was absolutely shell shocked. He was in the squad to begin with the other night, and he came on, he scored, I jumped about, I was loving it, but it still doesn't sit right with me. But Bargain's injured and on him, mate. It's what the fuck we're going to do. No, but I don't think he shouldn't be. But Gerrard said these reasons. It's been kind of he's put an end to it. But it doesn't sit right.
I think like last week that he's backed him into a corner last week where need to have Balogun obviously get injured, and he knows that'll probably be his last game until, well, I don't know if he's going to be involved. This is recording.
Still no, the ban's not been handed out yet, so
that's what I'm saying. But it's coming. So the punishment, and he would get punished in house. I would imagine some of the senior players are probably pulling him up. He's probably had the fucking worst couple of weeks of his life, apart from obviously what happened last week. What happened was shocking. It was terrible, but mate, my trust in Steven Gerrard. I put my faith in Steven Gerrard to do it.
Do you not think that, like I said, I touched on last time I was on when it happened, was see the players that did get fucking hammered, like Edmondson and Jordan Jones. Do you not think they're sitting there going, "Wait a fucking minute here"?
Yeah.
You know
to
what
a
I mean?
certain extent, I do. I think they would be kind of looking at the situation and going, right, well, hang on here. Either they're just deciding, right, well, we're definitely not favoured by Gerrard in any way, shape or form. And I think Jones is, I think he'd kind of run his journey at Rangers, to be honest.
He seems to be flying at Sunderland, mind you.
He scored the weekend there.
His goal the other day was
an absolute worldie.
Man, it was. But
I think they'll reach a double standards there.
Yeah.
There does reach a double standards, but I think with Edmondson, I don't know. But with Jones, I think he's been like a cat with 9 lives with Gerrard anyway. So I think he was so far. He came back, had a wee fucking 15 minutes of fame against Motherwell, come back, scored a goal. But he's not. There's obviously an underlying issue there with Jones that we don't fully know about. But you've heard whispers and various reports, his behaviour in training and stuff. But it is when you look at the bigger picture with they two, how they've been dealt with, and then there comes a European game and Patterson, Zungu and Bassett on the bench. It blew my mind a wee bit, to be honest.
Yeah. Does it also say a wee bit about the strength and depth at Rangers? You know, the fact that they've been on the bench and they've not had people that could have took their seats. You know, I think it kind of focuses on that a wee bit as well. So maybe Gerrard's done that to show the board, look, we need a few signings in the summer. You know, so you never know.
I think we've effectively got 2 players for every position.
I know.
You're right back, you haven't.
No, we have. We've got Tavernier, we've got Tav, and we've got Tav, and we've got Patterson. There's 2 players.
He's going to be
for
at
but
least
what I'm
7 games, though, Patterson, isn't he?
My point is the fact that these players should maybe not have been on the bench. What I'm saying is the fact that they were on the bench means that, you know, they're maybe missing a wee tiny bit of depth, you know.
But how your board can only support you so far. Your board can't legislate for players bending rules. If anything, it shows you the strength and depth. We can just let Edmondson and Jones go. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like if players are going to just willy-nilly on a Saturday night, just fuck off out when they're not meant to, which the board kind of turn around and go, right, don't worry, we'll go and buy an off you players.
I mean, Rangers. I mean, actually, when you say that, Steve, I mean, there's a lot of players out on loan. You know, Barker's away, Greg Stewart.
He's getting slated, by the way. I read something about Barker last night, man. He was getting called all sorts on Twitter last night. Lazy bastard.
Barker?
Aye, man. apparently
I've always said that.
doesn't look at
I'm
well.
the same, mate. I'm the same. I've never understood back.
Grado loves him.
Grado
loves him.
There's a team tonight. Wait to see if he's involved tonight. Patterson starts tonight. Patterson starts.
So there you go. By the time we this goes out, of course, that'll be old news. So, thanks for coming on, Scott.
Cheers, Scott.
Thank you,
for
Scott.
the podcast.
Cheers, Scott, mate.
Cheers,
Podcast anytime, lads. Cheers.
Cheers, my man.
Cheers,
Thank you.
mate.
Thanks very
Anytime
much
you
for
shout.
coming on, Scott. All the best, mate.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Let's move on to our final call on the open line, and it is Regan.
Regan's back.
Regan is back on the open line.
How you doing, pal?
What are you saying to it, pal?
No, I'm doing good.
Brilliant.
I'm just wanting to talk about the Scottish Cup being back on today.
Yep.
I'm just a bit worried that John Kennedy might be. Say John Kennedy wins the Scottish Cup, big Celtic will give him the becoming manager.
Don't say that, mate. Come on, fuck. By the way, Rangers might throw the Scottish Cup just so Kennedy gets the fucking job.
I mean, they might give Kennedy the job in the Shivers the same way they did with Neil Lennon.
I know, mate. I know.
Do you know, that's exactly what happened, wasn't it? Was it not like 10 years ago this time, Tony Mowbray had that bad run, Lennon took her, and then did Lennon no do quite well in the last couple of months, and then he got the job? I can't, even if Celtic they win the Scottish Cup, I think Celtic can't have Kennedy.
Do you know what?
Things have happened.
I'll be honest with you. I honestly don't think the Scottish Cup will happen this season. I think there's lower leagues for a start. I've got all the games to catch up on. So, for example, Falkirk are set to play Arbroath, and then the winner of that then plays Celtic. All these replays have still got to happen. I honestly, with all the league games that the League One, League Two have got to catch up on, I honestly can't see how they're going to get through all the fixtures in time.
The thing is, though, John, you know, Arbroath need that cash injection in a game against Celtic. So, you know, once they put use it, you know, if they cancel the rest of the tournament, Arbroath will be fucking raging.
Fucking hate
Yeah, Toll makes a good point there. That's the reason why the Scottish Cup might be getting pushed to go ahead, because clubs need a bit of cash injection fee.
Plus, let's not forget the SFA need the money as well. There's sponsorship there. There's obviously the ability to fill Hampden a few times over as well, and that you know they've just spent all that money on Hampden. They're no want to.
But John, the fans can't be in the stadium, mate.
Well, that's true, but maybe come.
Let's get back to our caller's point. Come on, we're just leaving our caller hanging.
Regan, I apologise, mate, because of these rude bastards going off topic there, mate. Do you know what I mean? But, I will say I would not like to see it happen. I don't think it will happen because I think the board have learned their lesson for jumping the gun the last time. And according to Hugh Keevins, they've made contact with Eddie Howe, so fingers crossed, man.
I seen that he done an interview with was it another Celtic podcast, David Webb,
right?
And spoke about saying Eddie Howe what he wants to join the Premier League, but he'd be interested in Celtic too. So
well, that's the thing. What my whole point and my thought process behind it, Regan, is that if he can build up his already sizable reputation by bringing Celtic back for the doldrums that they're in just now, it only goes to bolster the fact that he's a great manager and he could maybe move on to, same way Rodgers did, you know what I mean? Maybe move on to bigger things.
Yeah, no, that's it.
I mean, I don't know why John Kennedy's still there. I mean, surely he's part of the problem with Neil Lennon.
Aye, well, I tell you what, see if he wasn't, it'd be Peter Lawwell that was managing the team, so fucking give him a break.
Right, Regan, thank you so much for coming on yet again. Great to speak to you, buddy.
Cheers, Regan.
See you later, Regan, my man.
See you later, guys. See you
Catch you
later.
later, pal.
Thanks, Regan, all the best, pal. Cheers, bye-bye.
Football Daft's big question.
Right, so this week, after watching that shambles with Brighton versus West Brom, we thought we'd say, what's the absolute worst refereeing decision that you've ever seen during a football match? Right, lads.
I know, I've got the answer for this right off the back. I've got the answer for this.
Right.
The full first leg against Antwerp. It was just the referee was a joke, but it's probably not the worst. It's really bad.
See, on that Brighton one, I don't get that one. I don't get what the fuss is about because, right, what happened?
The whistle had already went for him to take a free
Like
kick.
the goalie's off. I mean, I know it's like time waits for nobody and all that, right? But is it not? Am I being daft thinking, right, come on, give the goalie a chance to fucking...
Well, because the whistle had went, mate, to take the free kick.
See, at the end of the day, the guy was fucking offside and he was interfering with play, so the goal shouldn't have counted.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? But in my opinion, Grado, I think you were going to mention it there as well. It's definitely Partick Thistle Dundee United.
That's crazy looking at that back. What was the boy's name again? He had a funny name, the referee. What was his name?
Can't remember.
Fuck.
The ball hits the stanchion, comes back out into the goalie's hands.
There's Mottram.
The players are away celebrating. And the referee blows play on.
Aye.
They've scored the fucking goal. Do you know what I mean?
They pick up the ball and everything, don't they?
Aye,
and he's like,
the
man,
defender picks up the ball in his hands.
Aye, it's absurd, isn't it? It's funny, man. You see there's a couple of junior games now because there's so many YouTube channels and stuff like that, and some of the refereeing decisions you see on like the junior football is fucking crazy, man. It's really, really bad. So it's...
Bonkers, man. We've had some of the listeners get in touch. Paul Stoddard says, this is a classic. Charlie Mulgrew's red against Rangers when he played for Aberdeen. Shocking laugh. He laughed after it as well. That was hilarious, man.
That was bad, but...
Ian Grant from Western Australia says Rivaldo getting Turkish lad sent off in the World Cup finals after the ball hits him in the leg and he goes down like a sack of shit holding his face. The referee and linesman show no understanding of football at all. Still looks like a FIFA fix.
Aye, that was a shocker, that one. That was a shocker.
Chris McFadden says Chris Doolan's ghost goal for Partick versus Greenock. What was that? When was that?
That was only a few seasons back, so it was.
I don't remember. What was it?
Look it up on YouTube, Grado. It's fucking bonkers.
Grant Williamson says Martindale at Motherwell giving a free kick to Falkirk, then letting Motherwell take a throw in and score, then allowing the goal and sending off Tony Parks for complaining about the earth he made of it.
I wasn't there, but I heard it was an absolute...
Aye. Just going to ask you about that there, John.
No way has that happened twice.
Aye.
That is fucking insane.
By the way, both times Partick Thistle.
And it's at the same end.
I know. It's maybe there's some.
And that's the same stanchion. That is
some sort of mad shit going on at fucking Firhill.
I mean, that's just outrageous. That's happened, isn't it? Anyway, Kieran Gibbs, he says.
No, it's Scott Baird says.
Scott Baird says Kieran Gibbs getting sent off because Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain saved a shot on the line for Arsenal versus Chelsea.
I remember that. Sent the wrong guy off.
That's right. Kenny says the Thierry on me handball was pretty epic. If I could have took a baseball bat to his shins that night, I would have. I'll tell you.
Paul Kelly says Willie Collum awarding a penalty for a tackle on Kirk Broadfoot when his back turned and eyes closed from a non-existent touch from Mistrovic, if that's how you spell it.
Right.
LOL.
It certainly is. Laura Higgins, this is one I agree because I didn't get this. I still don't get it. But Hardy's red card against Morton, Barry Mackay after the goal, the celebration. That was me. And it actually also reminds me of Kildare at St Mirren as well. That was a bit weird as well.
Aye. Mikey saying Lee Griffiths free kick for Hibs against Hearts in 2013. Had it for about 40 yards. In off the bar and then bounced back out. The ball was a good foot over the line and no goal was given. The referee and linesman, the only two people inside Easter Road not to notice. Wow. I remember that, and it was a good foot and a half over the line.
Right.
Alan Muir says amateur level going for a title, fought back from 2-0 to 4-2 up, only a few games left and could go to goal difference being a decider. Opposition striker knocks it past our keeper and it's heading for the goal with our defender racing back to clear it. Ball sticks in the mud 2 yards off the goal line and ref blows whistle to signal a goal. When questioned in very polite terms, of course, at what he was up to, he said it was going in if it wasn't for the mud. Luckily we seen the game out and went on to win the league.
Fucking hell.
That's brilliant.
That is good. That's brilliant.
That's brilliant.
It's the player playoff with piesports.com. Every week we play this game for your chance to win pies from piesports.com, who are feeding Scottish football fans while we're in lockdown. You can order pies from their website or you can dial them up on their SOS hotline, which is Send Our Savouries 0141 739 9999. That's 0141 739 9999. at the moment they're doing this Glasgow oyster packs where basically you get 4 pies and 4 rolls sent to you, and you can stick the pie in the roll.
Tell me
that's what I had on
tell me
Friday.
this one. What type of rolls are they, Grado?
McGee's.
There we go, man. Product placement,
The
brother.
voice of McGee.
That would have been brilliant if talking about Morton's.
They'll deliver free of charge for you for the games this weekend, so check out their website to see where they deliver to for free. On the line to play this week, gents, it's Martin Sheffield, who's our Celtic supporter. Martin, is that right?
Aye, nearly get it right there.
I know, sorry.
That's very unusual for a Celtic fan to be on this show.
There's no room for these people on here.
He is on location, however. He's standing outside Firhill just now while he's on his daily walk.
There we go.
There we go. Try to see if Ian McCall will take your job, mate.
Jesus, you wouldn't surprise me.
Right, gents, so we're going to be heading back to the 01-02 season this week. Celtic were the treble winners in that year. And, it was the year before. Celtic won the league, and this was the year that Rangers won the Scottish Cup and the League Cup double under Alex McLeish. It was his first season in charge.
Lovencrans with the cup final header.
Of course, Falkirk avoided relegation from the first division because...
Nobody cares, John.
Mate, John, fuck up, John.
John, game kicks afternoon in the hospital. Talk about Falkirk, fuck's sake, come on.
Right, here we go then. We'll do the draw. Anyone you want to play in particular, Martin?
I've got a bit of beef with Grado. I wouldn't mind playing him.
Really?
Oh, but
What's the beef?
so you've met him then?
No. Long story short, messaged him last summer when he was looking for a hot tub and he never got back to us.
That's no man, I'll be honest with you. He doesn't like anyone.
He's the worst texter I've ever met.
This should become a recurring theme where Grado just does it every week because it's just what
See, have you still got it?
No.
Mate, did you message me on Instagram?
I did, mate.
Fuck.
He's acting now. Bastard.
I've got a wee bit of beef with him about this and all, because I says to him, wait until the winter, Grado. Wait until the winter. So I went down to B&Q winter. I says, Grado, I've come into B&Q and all these fucking easy spas are everywhere. Do you want me to pick one up for you? Nah, wait until the summer.
That's where I work. So that's how I was messaging him.
Bandit, man.
Could have got a staff discount as well, Grado, never mind.
You blew it, son.
I actually want a Celtic fan to beat you at this now, Grado, because you treated the guy like shit.
Do you know what? I've drawn out Chris, but I think it's only fair that he plays Grado.
Mate, see, but you know what? This is a bit absurd now because I'm beating folk every week now, and I'm not winning anymore. So it's fucking with my ego.
Here we go then. Well, you're playing Grado because he deserves it. Right, okay, what's your buzzer?
Also, Martin, you've got to go with a start. There you go.
Oh, I'm not giving him a
I'm only joking.
Right, Grado, what's your buzzer this week?
Hot tub.
Martin, what's your buzzer?
Bungo.
For sale.
Bungo.
Right. Here we go then. You know the rules, guys. I'm going to read out a player. Buzz in when you know what the player is. If you do buzz in, you're out the game, and I'll continue with the clue. Here we go. Right, ready for this?
It's only easy if you know the answer.
Right, you won't let me guess. Right, this was to be this Spanish striker's second season in Scottish football after joining Livingston from Airdrie.
Bungo.
Martin.
David Fernandez.
Yes.
Boom, there you go. 1-0, my friend.
I'm not going to win this
Well played, my man. Well played, mate. Well played.
Right, on to the second player now.
I'm getting horsed.
Come on, Grado. This Jamaican was Hearts.
Hot tub. Oh, he's not Jamaican.
Right, you want do you have a go at it, Grado?
Oh,
what are you going to say?
See.
What are you going to say here? Jamaican striker.
See, I don't know if I can say it now because you might get looked at. It's fucking.
Hot tub. Oh, fuck, he's not Jamaican.
Thomas Fogel, were you going for, Grado? Aye.
No, I can't say who I.
Right, okay.
Let him.
You're out then, Grado. I'll continue with the clue, Martin. This Jamaican was Hearts' joint top goal scorer in this season with 9 goals in the league after joining the Jambos on loan from Tivoli Gardens. However, the Tynecastle club couldn't afford to buy him, and he had the subsequent spells at Preston, Portsmouth and Stoke, where he helped the club reach the 2011 FA Cup final. A tough one.
Ricardo Fuller.
Oh, he's just done it! 2-0! Martin, congratulations. You've won the pies from piesports.com. Well done.
Cheers, lads.
I'll give you a wee shout in the summer, Biggie, all right?
No, I can't.
See you later, mate.
See you later, mate. Bye-bye. Right, let's welcome to Football Daft a man who, with a 10-year stint at Aberdeen, made over 300 appearances. He's now the goalkeeping coach in his hometown of Paisley with St Mirren. It's Jamie Langfield. Jamie, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Not bad, mate. How are you? I'm all good. All good.
We've finally got you on the podcast because we have wanted you on here for ages.
Aye, it's only took us about 12 months to get on, man. Aye.
It feels like that. And we did have you booked in to be on the show. It was, I think it was the exact day that St Mirren had to deal with the goalies getting COVID.
Yeah.
But because I was just looking it up. You actually re-registered as a player, didn't you, to sit on the bench?
I had to re-register. It was crazy up until about 5 minutes to 12. We had up until 12 o'clock to register a goalie, and at 5 to 12 we still hadn't registered somebody. The day of the game, so I was technically playing, and I'm 4 stone overweight in it, and I'm do you know what I mean? And honestly, I actually tried the goalie strip on, and I thought, okay, I'm going to fucking embarrass myself if I have to get in this pitch. But do you know what? I was willing to do it just because I don't know if you know me. It's a laugh now. It's a laugh now.
You're Craig Levine now. It's a laugh, innit?
And half the people have laughed at me during my career, so I thought, what's another fucking day got to do? I may as well just do it. So, but I'm not going to lie, when I walked into the changing room and Bobby's Lamal was sitting there, I thought, thank God for that, because as I say, I tried the goalie strip on and it was a bit tight. I was still carrying a wee bit of that lockdown weight, so no, I was buzzing with that. But it was up until about 5 to 12 before we could get Bobby registered. So technically, I was the only goalkeeper registered at the club.
Wow. That's crazy, isn't it?
That's scary though, especially like with lockdown that we've all put on a bit of timber, haven't we, Gary?
Damn Putin, man, guilty. Man.
I mean, but I was nervous coming back to work. I've not had a pair of denims on for about 14 months.
Mate, denims? You don't need to put on a fucking leotard when you're going back to your work, man. Heck off you. You know what I mean? Fucking hell, denim.
You know the worst thing about it, all these strips are now that fucking tight fitted shit. You know what I mean?
Man.
It doesn't work well. I'll give me the old school baggy shite they get the sleeves down to here. But now the bag.
You're lucky. When I put one of the tops on, I look like a bag of rocks. You know what I mean?
Who did you like football growing up?
Fuck's sake, man! We're trying to get Jamie Langfield on for fucking over a year, and you're going to make him fucking go after 5 minutes. So, no. Jamie, did you like football?
No. No, I was into wrestling.
Right, Jamie, cheers for coming on, mate. Thanks for the best.
I've got a real question. Right, now, Jack Hannock came to St Mirren, right, and he hadn't had the best of times at Ibrox, but he's one of the best goalies in the league now. Do you think that's all cause of you?
Listen, it's certainly not all cause of me. I think, I think it's all. I can only put on like training sessions for the guy, but at the end of the day, he's the one that's going to walk you the white lines. It's my job's like try to make his training as enjoyable and as varied as I possibly can. I'm used to that training, but it's boring all the time. I used to think training was always boring. I called it a Scooby-Doo effect. I mean, Scooby-Doo, you get fucking plant when he's running. It's just the same thing all the time. That's what I felt training was like. So I thought I'd mix it up a wee bit. What I do is maybe not right, but it seems to work with the likes of Jack and obviously Vaclav last year. So it's going well, but nah, 98% of it's all down to him and his hard work and his determination and the way he goes about himself on a Saturday. The rest of it's just everything else.
He just couldn't get a game really at Rangers, you know what I mean? There was no much game time for him. I wouldn't say look back and go,
he never got a
bad
chance.
time at Rangers, he never got a chance, but you can see him now, do you know what I mean? Like
No, speaking to Jack, he's the chance to play for Rangers, you know what I mean? He's delighted that. Does he want to get back there? Of course he wants to get back to the big stage. And that's what he thinks. Sometimes you need to take a step back to go forward again. And that's a good thing. And he's realised that, you know what I mean? He's came to a club where he is technically, a lot of people are showing him a lot of love. He's technically the main man. Do you know what I mean? And that's shown in his performances.
Aye.
And hopefully that's sets him stead and going forward. Obviously, we don't want to get rid of the guy. He's been different class since he comes in. But I'm sure if he keeps on playing the way he's playing, I said that, and the manager said it as well, it'll be hard to keep a hold of him.
Gredo's got a theory about him, hasn't he, Gredo?
What did I say? I can't remember.
Gredo thinks he's going to sign for Celtic.
I can actually say hand on heart, no chance, right? There you go.
Grado sent us one of his drunken rabble fucking voice notes one night saying, I'll tell you this, you've heard it here first, Jack Anik is going to sign for Celtic.
The reason, thanks for clearing that up, Jamie, but the way I had it, I just thought, remember Mark Brown done that? He never got much of a chance at Rangers, and then he was at Cali Thistle, and fucking he was superb, and then he went to Celtic. I just kind of thought, I bet that ends up happening. I totally forgot I said that, but that's good. He's
I speak to him, I can't see things something like that happening. I don't think he'd won that in his life.
Don't think his lodge would be too happy.
Yeah, Jamie, see, I grew up idolising goalies, man. I loved goalies. Andy Gorham was my hero. Phil Snelders, I know. Andy Dibble, who else?
Yeah, Van Hooijdonk.
He was my favourite outfield player too. But who was your goalie heroes as grown up?
Andy Gorham
was
one of my idols. Peter Schmeichel, obviously, because probably more of the height thing with me. But Andy, for the way he conducted himself, the way he played in goals was just incredible. Some of the saves he was like a proper goalie, like shot-stopping goalie. You don't really see that now. It's all about, can you play it for the back, can you do this? Andy Gorham was a match winner. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same as I look at Griggsy. I know Griggsy is the exact same. He's in the same sort of mould. Match winner. He's playing with Old Firm. You're going to be called upon once or twice during a game, and that's when they need to make these big saves. And these guys can do that. And so, I mean, that's probably something that I could make 100 saves in a game, but I'd still make that one fuck up.
That is interesting because I always remember reading or watching an interview with Andy Gorham, and he did say he went for playing at Hibs where he'd be busy all afternoon to go into Rangers where he's like, you're going to be involved in about 2 or 3 shots max, so you need to be ready for it. It's mental to think as a goalkeeper for a different team, you could be a completely different player just because of who's in your team, innit?
Yeah. The big thing for me is like goalies is, and it's like playing for the Old Firm. You go for some place that you're making 6 or 7 saves, that masks the fact that you're making 1 or 2 mistakes in a game. You can't make the 1 and 2 mistakes at Celtic or Rangers. It's impossible. It goes in the net. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference. So that's why it kind of masks it, and that's why it's always harder going for a lower club, the likes of Rangers and Celtic, when you're so used to making so many saves, but the mistakes just get masked over, and that's what kills you sometimes.
I think that's what Rob Douglas suffered for that a bit, because I remember being buzzing when Celtic signed Rob Douglas, because I'd seen him playing for Dundee against us so often, and he was a fucking outstanding goalie for them. And then when he came to Celtic, I think it was just the concentration thing. A lot of the time he made some mistakes. So,
Jamie, what about St Mirren? How far can you go this season?
Listen, we're in a good position just now. That's the main thing. I think if you look at it now, where we've been in the past few seasons, I say if Andy said you're sitting the top 6 with 2 games left to go, albeit you've got to go to Ibrox on Saturday, I think you'd bite their hand off for it. But as we say, we just keep on building. I think maybe run of draws there, the 4 draws, kind of held us back a wee bit, but we need to understand we had to play it, and it's no month in the morning. We had to play 8 games in February, which is mental. And now we've only got 2 games in the next 6 weeks.
Wow!
So it's absolutely crazy. But these things, it's for us to be in the position we're in. It's brilliant. It's brilliant for the club, brilliant for all the hard work the manager and the boys have put in. And as I say, we just keep on. I think the new motto at St Mirren is look up the way, stop looking behind your shoulder and think where you should be. Do you know what I mean? Let's try and look up the way and see who we can catch and who can catch us.
Aye. It's been an interesting season for likes of St Mirren and Livingston. There's always a couple of teams every year that surprise everybody in a good run of form. St Mirren, I mean, December, he's had a great result in December. I can't mind who he's were playing.
I think it was 3-2. I think it was 3-2. I think they beat some guy. I can't remember. I think it was the goalie.
Aye, so
he's made up for it. He's made up for it a couple of weeks ago at Parkhead.
I think it's the only team it's won against Rangers this season. If I'm right, I can't.
I was sitting in here fucking nearly fucking Cobra Kai my telly. I was fucking gonna have my nut that night, honestly.
Aye, that was a bad night, wasn't it?
Well, the best part of it was I didn't even know the score until I went into the group chat. And I was like, what are you two talking about? I'm fucking dancing about the living room like a dafty.
The worst thing is fucking Davis equalising, then he's got the part score. What the fuck's going on here?
Because we couldn't believe it. We thought we scored. Obviously, Davis scored. We thought, oh fuck, here we go, 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
What we were out in our arse, completely out in our arse. The boys had put so much in it, and then we actually had a look around and we thought, Rangers haven't got any defenders on here.
Is that right?
They just went for it, the attack. Mm-hmm. Then we get the corner, and I was like, oh, here we go. And then Greggsy makes an unbelievable save, and just thankfully for us, it just taps at Conor McCarthy's feet and loses the next round. So it was a great feeling. It was great for our boys and a great thing for us on, but not for you.
But the thing is, before the game, me and Grado were talking right before the game, and Jim Goodwin was getting interviewed, and Grado actually texted me literally what I was thinking. Right, he looked so cool and confident that night, didn't he, Grado? Remember saying
100%.
that?
I was like, this could go wrong tonight. Just the way he was talking about it, no fear in the guy whatsoever.
He just looked so relaxed, man. He looked so. And to come across like that, Jamie,
he's always like that. He's the coolest cunt ever.
He's got like that. He's got that. That's the way he portrays. I can say on the sideline, he's a maniac. He kicks every ball. But when he's doing his press and he's speaking to folk and he's speaking to the thing, he comes across, and he is one of the most positive guys you'll meet. And I think you need to be like that. Do you know what I mean? You need to be like that, and the job he does, and he comes across really positive, and I think it shows in the way our players are playing this year. And I say there's no point showing fear against the likes of Rangers and Celtic, because everybody puts us down to get beat anyway, so we may as well just go out and enjoy it.
You were telling us there during the teammate thing that we do for Patreon, which you can see if you're listening, by the way. You were telling us about, we totally forgot you were at Dundee at the height what was his face again? What did you call him?
Stefano.
Aye. So tell us a bit about that. What was your experience like? Because I mean, how many years were you there? About 6 or 7 years at Dundee?
I was there 6 years, and it was Peter Marr, obviously chairman at the time, brought in Gio, and the next thing you know, the Benettis came in. Then there was just this influx of foreign players. You had your Caballeros, Carranzas.
What a player Caballero was!
Honestly, Juan Sara, and these boys were like proper players, and like we were flying. We were up there. We were only competing, but it was good to see a Dundee side competing at the top end of the table because of the type of players we had.
That was a great Dundee side to watch. They were exciting to watch, man.
Aye.
Was that Keith's feeling all that as well, wasn't it?
Aye, Keith's feeling.
Adamchuk maybe and all that.
Would you call that crackpot? That crackpot that played for Newcastle.
Nemzadze. Funny story about him, boy, Mark Robertson, who I'm really pally with. He shared a room with Georgie. And you know Georgie was nuts. Remember that time he volleyed the board and all that? He's playing with Newcastle. Took his boots off, took his staff up. So we're staying at a hotel. So with this thing, we stayed away the night of 4 games, every game. For some reason, I don't know. We'd play at Hame and we'd be staying at Carnoustie, even though my house was like 2 minutes from the end. So we're in the hotel, and Robbo's walked into his room, and he just says that Nemzadze's sitting with all his gear off, pair of pants on, and a hat, just sitting at the edge of the bed, just looking at the telly, and the telly wasn't on. Honestly. And he's come running like
wait a minute. Are we talking about the same guy here? Because it was Tamuri Ketsbaya that kicked him.
Ketsbaya, sorry. Tamuri Ketsbaya. My thing. So it was Kets, right? So maniac, right? So he's sitting there, hat on, right? The bath's running. So Robbo's walked in the room, right? He's looking at the telly, walked in, said nothing. Robbo just put his bag on and came along to my room. And he actually said, "Can I sleep in your room?" And I know what I get back in there. He was fucking nuts, honestly. Just had the most deadpan face in the world. But he was fucking crazy.
It sounds like he's in his fucking room doing the fucking scene for Apocalypse Now, man. Just started fucking dancing.
Robbo proper shat his pants. But no, he had kits and everything. And then, lo and behold, fucking Ravanelli comes in.
Wow, no.
Honestly.
Hey, what are you thinking there, right? You're like Caballero kicks by you. You're sitting going, yeah, we've just went and fucking signed Ravanelli today. Do you know what I mean? Like, and can he just on the phone to Maradona, Ravanelli swagging about, man? You know, sitting going, what the fuck's going on here?
Maradona's on the phone to Baggio.
Honestly, it was a mental time. But Ravanelli was like one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and like he was staying at a hotel in Dundee, and my flat was like 2 minutes along the road. So, but we went out, me, him. And Craig Burley went out for a night out. So
that's funny.
Imagine being in that pub or something, bumping into Langfield, Burley, and Ravanelli.
Right. So we're in this pub, right, and then we're into a nightclub, into Fat Sam's. So into Fat Sam's, right. So Rava's like to me, what do you drink? And I'm like, so I got him, it was Magners was just out at the time, right? So I've got him on the Magners, right? So he's drinking pints of Magners. So the next thing you know, we're fucking after nut in the taxi back to my flat, right? So I went into my bed, fell asleep, came out the next morning, and here's Ravanelli sleeping on my settee, comatose on my settee. And I'm like, I went, Rava. He's like, fucking silly Italian accent. He's like, and he went like to me, what are you doing in my room? I'm like, what are you doing in my room? You're in my fucking flat. He woke up like, do you want a coffee? He's like, no, I better get back. And he honestly stood at the flat, honestly. I was like, no, the worst thing about it was, see, because there was no like phones or anything like that, you could take pictures then.
You'd have been taking a selfie.
Honestly, I'd have been like that. I'd have done everything with it. Honestly, I'd have been on Twitter, Instagram.
What are you doing in my room?
What are you doing in my room? I'm like, you're in my flat. He just got up and stowed it away, man. Oh,
that's brilliant.
But that's the type of guys that were at the club at the time, and as much as they were like big stars, they were so down to earth. They were brilliant to work with and train with, but also great fun away for the
Mate,
club
that's
as well.
so funny. Wait, I mean, you ever think, man, you'd have Ravanelli sleeping in your couch, man?
No, and like that's the thing I'm spewing about, because I couldn't take a photo. So if I tell somebody, he's like, don't believe you, I'm like, well, it's my word against yours. So you need to try and get Ravanelli on.
Have you got
you still speak to him?
No, he's biked off. Same with Canadian, ain't no time for us now.
What were they like in training? But did they take were they like obviously Ravanelli, Canadian, a big pedigree, coming to a team like Dundee, no disrespect to Dundee, but you never thought you'd see something like that happening. What were they like in training? Were they still like, as professional as ever and like
Canadian didn't train? Canadian used to play shoot in with his boy behind the goal. He used to be training, and he just came out and he started doing all his flicks and all that, and just playing with his boy behind the goal. And you'd be like, he's no training. And you'd be like, he's just, first few weeks you'd be like, he's just here for a jolly up. And I remember his first game against Motherwell, he's like going at the halfway line, he's drove, got to about 25 yards out, and then just chipped the ball in the net.
Right. I
And
remember
we thought that, wow. And he just kept on doing it. And Benetti just let him do whatever he wanted. He could do whatever he wanted. Honestly, he was just a proper culture hero. He looked after his body. And he obviously he's moved to Rangers as well. So it just shows you how well he actually done for Rangers. I think they just paid over £1 million for him as well. So
he was a class act at Rangers, man. He was
it's just a pure mental time in Scottish football, and it's just another one of these stories, isn't it?
Remember when Sky used to actually give us money and teams could sign players? That was a good buzz, wasn't it?
I don't think it was the Sky money. It was giving us the Dundee money. I think that was
Aye, there was a wee bit of fucking, there's a wee bit of ducking and diving going on there, know what I mean? But we'll not get into that, know what I mean? Let's not let the truth get in the way of a good fucking story, man.
When your director's best mate with Saddam Hussein and he's his lawyer. Go right there.
Fuck, that's right. Remember that fucking
Hell, man.
Fucking Ravanelli sleeping on your couch and Saddam Hussein coming to pick him up in an Uber.
Brilliant.
Oh no, you've lost me. That's weird.
Oh, that's fucking brilliant, man.
Do you look back on that time in your career, Jamie, and go, that's one of the best times, or it's your best time at Aberdeen or whatever?
Oh no, definitely. Just because I grew up through the youth system and all that, and I was there with like, my pals and all that, and then all these boys just started coming in. That was brilliant. But obviously for the nucleus of my playing career, definitely Aberdeen was my best. But definitely if you're going through a youth system and bringing into the first team football, that was a great environment. As mental as it was brilliant. And to get to train and play with the likes of these guys was just on another level.
Aye. Was it? Did Jimmy Calderwood sign you for Aberdeen?
Aye. Oh, Jimmy Calderwood signed me on a pre-contract for Dunfermline, right?
Right.
So he signed me for Dunfermline, right? So I've went and done all the deal with my agent, signed the thing. So I'm like, Missy's like buzzing, signed a year with Dunfermline. I'm like, Jimmy's told me that I'm going to start and I'm going to get a chance to start, so on and so forth. So I'm like, right, okay. Me and my mates went to Fallaraki on a holiday.
Oh.
Right, so sitting next to the pool, right, so I can pissed out my skull. So that broke the daily record. Remember, it used to be the day after.
That's right,
Aye, when you're on holiday, aye, that's right, aye.
Here I pick up the back page. I'm drunk, remember, and I see a picture of Jimmy Calderwood with the Aberdeen fucking scarf. I'm like, what? what happened there? I'm like, what's going on here? And so I phoned back. Aye, Jimmy's left to go to Aberdeen. I'm like, oh, fucking brilliant. So Derek Stilley just left Dunfermline. He was a number one. So I was like, right, okay, at least I'll have a chance to play. So I've get back. Fucking first thing I pick up the paper again. Derek Stilley's re-signed for Dunfermline. For fuck's sake, what is going on here? Honestly, it was couldn't make it up. But then, through his word, probably about 3 months later, JC came back in from again and re-signed me at Aberdeen. He said, I'll take you to Aberdeen when I can get you in a pre-contract. And I signed a 3-year deal at Aberdeen. So he was true to his word and he came back in for me. So no, I was delighted with that.
Jamie, I mean, he was a right good manager, wasn't he?
For me, he was the best manager I've ever worked with. He tactics for everything. Honestly, tactics for everything. I remember we went to Bayern Munich, obviously, to play again in the Allianz Arena. So we're two each for the two each for the first leg. So we're playing the Allianz Arena. 60,000 folk. They've got Samuel, Lucio, Oliver Kahn in goals. They've got, I think they had 4 World Cup winners. Tony Kroos, Lamb, you name it, right? And Jimmy's pulled up his pad, right? And he's got the team down, right? And he's actually went, big question marks over him. And he's pointing to Willie Samuel, who just won the World Cup. he's like, I think he could be got it. He actually sitting just laughing, thinking, is he taking the piss? He said, they're unbelievable world stars. But about 2 seconds into the game, they'd hit the bar. I think we were 4 down in the first half. It was just a totally different experience. And he sat in the changing room, rather than it being an experience. All the boys are like, at the Allianz Arena, there's a swimming pool in the actual changing room. Right. So he's trying to get his team talk, right? So all the boys are doing like dive bombers and all that in the swimming pool. No giving a fuck, right? And Jimmy's like, he's raging ways, absolutely raging ways. We'd been beat off Bayern in the Allianz Arena. Thought there was a chance there for us. But that was the type of guy he was. And he was absolutely brilliant for me.
What I want to know, did you manage to get Oliver Kahn's tap at the end of the game?
Mate, I certainly did. I've got it
in
the garage. I actually waited, and this is how he went nuts at me as well. He fell out with me because I waited in the tunnel for 20 minutes.
Waiting for Kahn.
Because you know how the Germans, after every game, they stay in the day, they hang with the fans and all that. They're out there for it. So I'm like, that's on the thing, and all the boys are like, come on, you better get in. I'm I'm a fuck. This is a one and only time for me. I'm spawning here. I'm spawning here until he came back in. I don't know what he's done with me. He actually, in fairness to him, he took my strip off me anyway, so he's probably washing his motor with it.
Oliver, if you're listening, Oliver, I just want to know, have you still got Langfield stock?
But no, he gave me it, and it was true. His birthday. I waited on the tunnel, so brilliant, absolutely brilliant,
man.
Do you remember getting back in, but and seeing Calderwood after that? Do you remember what he said to you? No, when you were
no, that's when I walked in, he was sitting like in a huff. Like in a proper huff, because all the boys were just like jumping in the pool and all that. Like it was like a 18 to 30. Jumping about, and he's like in a proper huff. You're like, what can you do? You've just been beat off by a Munich.
Only time I've ever heard the account going an 18 to 30 to Munich.
Jamie, can I need to read this bit out, man, right, and explain this, right? I mean, obviously, you can't believe everything that you read off Wikipedia, right? But in June 2007, while enjoying his stag party in Magaluf, he had a drunken argument with Aberdeen manager Jimmy Calderwood after bumping into him in a chance encounter. With the incident putting his future in Dundee at doubt, Langfield stated he wasn't able to remember what happened. He was so drunk.
It's true. I was on my stag do. I was on my stag do with all my mates. So I think this was the third day in. I think it was the third day in. So I've not slept 3 days. You know what I mean? I like a drink, but I'm not a big drinker. But the boys kept me topped up. So I think it was the Champions League final. So I'm sitting in a bar. But this time I fell asleep. So I'm outside the bar in the sun, and I've had a wee like pee. Right, so I've had a wee pee. Right, that's all. Right,
an accident.
Literally, a wee accident. Right. So next thing I know, I get carried up to my hotel. But this time I hadn't known that JC had walked into the bar and seen me. So
did you? You didn't even know he was in Magaluf then?
I didn't even know. I knew he was in Magaluf, but I didn't know he'd seen me. So
you must have thought you were tripping out your nut, mate.
No, this is the best thing. So everything was fine. So day 4. I'm obviously flying home, so I'm all. I get home. Day 5, my agent phones me. Jimmy wants to speak to you. I'm like, what for? He's like, right. He says he just needs to speak to you. He phones me. JC phones me, and I'm like, all right, Gaffer. He's like, all right. I'm like, he went, I'm going to put you in the transfer list, and I'm like, what? He says, what you done was unbefitting of an Aberdeen player. And I'm like, Gaffer, what have I done? I went, Gaffer, what have I done? Because I couldn't remember. Right? I didn't even remember I'd peed myself. So I'm actually getting told this. He says it's unbefitting a Aberdeen player. So I'm like, right, okay. So they just offered me a 3-year deal. So that get took off the table. Rangers had come in for me. To go there as a second choice. So Jimmy turned them down for that. And I'm getting married in about a week later. So I had no contract, no chance of going elsewhere. Couldn't remember any of it. That was the best thing about it. I'm like, I don't know what I've done. I'm asking my mates and all that, but it wasn't even them that took me up. It was 2 guys at Jimmy that took me into the hotel. So I'm like, right, I don't know what's going on. So I didn't know what was going on. So, but I took it in the chin. So I took it in the chin. I said, right, okay, that's the way you see it. It's unfit and that. Aberdeen player, I get all that, and I took that right in the chin. So I put the phone down, having to explain it to the new wife to be. So that went down like a fart in a spacesuit. And she's just been like, right, okay, well, you just need to just keep working hard, try and get back in, so on and so forth. Phone goes again about 10 minutes later. Honestly, this is not a word of lie. I goes, Gaffer, he's like, I'm just off the phone to Big Eck. I'm like, you're right, Gaffer. You've been called up with Scotland. You have to go to the Faroe Islands.
You're joking?
I know. I'm like, what? He's like, you have to go to the Faroe Islands. He's like, I said, when? He says, tomorrow. He says, you'll be back on Friday. I'm like, Gaffer, I get married on Saturday. He's like, it doesn't matter. So I had to.
It doesn't matter.
Cannot believe it.
That is.
It was mental. And then I came back for pre-season. JC wasn't talking to me. I'd missed out the first 3 league games of the season. Derek Suter started. They don't like that one. So he started, and then we were in just a team meeting, and he hadn't spoke to me for weeks. He just kept on telling me to work hard. So I was sitting there and running a team meeting. I remember sitting up the back next to me, Barry Nicholson. We're playing Nipro. First time the club have played in Europe in about 10 years, right? So it's the the qualifying stage, and he's pulled out the sheet. He hadn't spoke to anything, and I went like, Baz, am I fucking playing? And he's like, I think so. I said, that's my name at the top of that, isn't it? He's like, aye. And he walked by me, and all he said to me is, you're back in. That's all he said to me, and that was the only other time he spoke to me.
Wow.
Mental. Fucking hell, man. Don't fuck with JC, man.
Oh no. Listen, I took my medicine, and there's been so many people asking me about this over the years. What did you do? Did you have a fight with him? Did you punch him? I mean, I've had everything thrown at me, and all it was third day of my thingy. I had a wee accident, which was wrong with me.
All you did was push yourself.
Aye, man. Fucking
a wee accident.
Listen, we've all done it. We've all done it.
And it's honestly, and the Aberdeen fans turned against me and everything because I supposedly said that I wanted to go to Rangers and I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that, and all it was just literally just because of that.
Oh, but Jamie, you had one of the most bizarre injuries in football, right? After spilling boiling water on your foot. Is that right? How did that happen?
Right. Truth of the story is, I didn't drop the thing, right?
Did Jimmy put it on you?
No, we were travelling for some reason. Mark McGee got in his head that it'd be very good for us to drive from Aberdeen to Warwickshire. Instead of getting a plane, so we get the bus down. So we're on the bus. There's no hot water on the bus. So the boys, we stopped at a place called Port Lethen, just outside Aberdeen at Asda, and got a kettle. So put the kettle on the side of the thing where the microwave and that is. Just left it there, so it's clicked on. So I'm standing at the table talking to one of the boys. And as we're coming into Dundee, the drivers went round the corner. This thing's just clicked, so it's just boiled. Things just fell off the side. I've got flip-flops on and a sock, so new trainers, boiling water straight in my foot. What? Honestly,
hell, man.
It was the most horrific thing I've ever felt in my life. I've actually got my foot. So you know the wee toilets in the you get the wee toilets and the thing. I've got my foot. So I'm standing outside the toilet with my foot in the wee sink, trying to get cold water on it, right? And I could actually feel my skin just coming away.
Oh my God.
Honestly, it was horrific. So I went pure grey. The docs gave me all sorts of drugs to calm the pain. And and Mark McGee went, it's all right, we'll make it to Darlington before we... I'm like, Darlington? They kept me in the bus till Darlington. We were at Dundee. I went on the way to Darlington before I go to a hospital.
Holy fuck.
Shut up.
What is it with goalies and mad fucking injuries? Remember Canizares dived and grabbed the iron? He dropped the iron and he grabbed it with his bare hands and fucking missed the Champions League final or something because of it, mind?
What happened that? That's fine.
Goalies are that's kind of hanging it.
But no, that's another one. I got slaughtered for dropping a kettle in my thing, but it wasn't. I was just just like me. Unfortunate. It was honestly 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So I've got this thing. I got all the skin cut away, and it was red, and so on and so forth. So I've come back up the road after like 10 days, and so they got Sharpie, a physio at the time, get this guy in for the army, who deals with wounds. War wounds, right? So I'm thinking I'm out here for like 6 weeks and all that, right? I'm thinking, fucking hell. He said, big man, he said, see if that was it in the thing. He said, you'd have been straight back out with your fucking boot on. He said, you put that on. He said, can you put up with pain? I'm like, aye. He said, well, you can train. Honestly, I trained the next day. Aye. He said, if you can put up with pain, just go on it. Because it's not going to get any worse. So he just strapped it up. I just went out and trained.
And did you train the next day?
I trained the next day.
Fucking hell, man.
The Saturday was the game where Celtic beat them 9-9.
You must have get pelted for that one, did you know? The 9-0.
That wasn't a great game
in
my life. That. It was a dark day.
I blame Paul Hartley. I blame Paul Hartley.
I blame Paul Hartley. I also blame was it Thomas Rogney? He gets sent off as well, didn't he?
Aye.
Big man gets sent off. So you know what Celtic Park's like? The pitch just became bigger because there was less players on it. And honestly, first penalty, then another penalty, then another penalty. So we got to half time. We thought, we're doing all right, 4-0 down. And then we're like, we'll keep it tight for the next 10 minutes. Then Josh McGuinness.
Win the second half.
Then Josh McGuinness scores The fifth one, header, for like 18 yards right into the top corner. OG. I'm like, oh my God. And then the next thing I look up at the clock and it's 79 minutes and they're singing We Want 10. And I'm like, oh no. And I always remember getting after the game. Absolutely gut-wrenching, gutted, right? Took my gloves off. It was a wet day, took my gloves off. Fucked them in the bin, took my boots off, they went in the bin as well. I wasn't keeping them. Sitting up the back of the bus, emotional, no greeting, but just like that way, what the fuck's just happened? And Mark McGee came up to me, the manager came up to me and went like to me, "We sign these gloves?" He took my gloves out the bin and then asked me to sign them. And it's the first time I've ever went like a manager, "Are you taking the fucking piss?" And he's like, "No, you want to sign them for me? I want to keep these."
Why?
I don't know.
Why would you want to keep them?
Because he's just watched his team beating Aberdeen 9-9.
Aye, true. That's true.
Honestly, I could not believe it. Unless it was some sort of sick thing that he wanted.
He was wanting 10 and all.
We don't want 9.
We
want 10.
That mob are always singing they want 10, but they never fucking get it, Jamie. Don't worry about it.
You fucking arsehole, you. You know what, Jamie? You were actually in goals the very first game I took my wee boy to. It was 1-0 and Commons scored. And do you know what?
By the way, you any fucking good news for me?
No, but listen, you know what? I'm going to tell you the good part of this. See, at half time, remember they had Karen Gillan for Doctor Who doing the draw at half time, right? And the Doctor Who music come on, and my wee boy get that fear he wanted to leave, and I never seen the fucking goal.
Where did you? Where did that? Well, that was the game. I just obviously come back after the brain hemorrhage, and that was my first game of the season. And it was like we were doing well. I think it was like the 83rd minute. We trickly crossed the front post, and I let it get through me. Honestly, they talk about like people wanting people dead and all that. Man, you should have seen the tweets and the texts I was getting there. It was horrific. But I just got on with it because it was like stupid stuff like you should have died and all that. You just think, right, okay. But do you know the thing? I read these things and I know people take it personally. I just think, come on, you wouldn't say that to my face. So unless you get the balls to say it to my face.
Jamie, I want to touch on that actually because I think Stephen, you were wanting to speak about that as well, weren't you? You had a
because I know like you were saying like you took seizures and all that, mate. Is that right?
Aye.
I was the same, mate. I was in the hospital for like nearly 4 months. I took seizures and I thought I was on the road out, mate. Do you know what I mean? I was in the hospital for ages, and it's like suspected meningitis it was I had, but I took like 7 or 8 seizures and get lumbar punctures and all that, mate. You know what I mean? So I kind of it's not nice. At that point, did you think your career was over basically at that point?
Aye. Well, the thing that happened with me was I you know yourself, I had 3 like grand mal seizures, and you know seizures are meant to last like quite quickly. I think mine went on for like 3 or 4 minutes. So I'd let one in the house, I had another one in the hospital, and then I had a third one, which I always remember. I said that to my missus. I said I always remember turning to my missus in the hospital and just thinking, I just turned away for it as I was away at so I thought I was going to die. And then the drugs obviously kicked in. It must have come into my system, and then I found out that I had obviously an AVM, which is just I had a massive brain hemorrhage to the left side of my head. But we didn't know what it was caused by at the time. We thought it was like blood pressure, so on and so forth. So at that time I was all over the place. Didn't know whether I was going to play again. Didn't know whether I was. But obviously the medical staff, you know yourself, up at the old Southern were incredible.
I was in the Southern for 4 months, mate. It was, got to the point where I felt all right, and I still just wasn't getting the complete all clear. But I was probably the most fittest guy in the hospital at the time. I think jumping about Helper Elgins in the wardrobe and all that, but just couldn't get out, mate. Do you know what I mean? Couldn't get out for love nor money. Wouldn't let me out. So it was a bit worrying, mate.
The things they do up there is incredible. Like that. I always remember when I went in to get the embolization. So that's like the glue in my brain. And I remember I went in for it on the Monday morning, and I was in intensive care on the Tuesday, and I think I was in high dependency on the Wednesday, and I played the Saturday against Celtic.
There you go.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. What was
the first thing I woke up? The first thing I woke up when I woke up was, can I play Saturday? And she always took the piss. My missus fell out of me when they speak to me. I was like, I don't care.
I was going to say that. How did your family take that when you went back to play so quickly? Because my missus wouldn't even let me go in the garden myself. You know what I mean?
She was a wee bit funny because obviously but I always remember the first day back. I think I get booted in the head. I think it was like to me. I sprung back up.
Happens,
I sprung back up and like everybody's like, but it's like it's not really you that thinks about it. It's other people.
Aye.
And they're all like, oh, and I'm like, I'm fine.
Do you know what?
This is going to happen.
I had my dad had a brain hemorrhage, right? And he wasn't allowed to even leave the house for ages. But the first time we went back to a game, it was Celtic versus AC Milan in the Champions League, and the AC Milan players were warming up before the game, right? And Pirlo hit a shot, and it's the only time he's never hit the target, I think, right? And it went over the bar, and the person in front of us jumped up and stopped it, and it was honestly about a foot away from scalping my dad right in the head, and it would have killed him. It would have killed him straight out. Do you know what I mean? And everybody around about's like, because he hadn't been there for so long. Do you know what I mean? And I can tell what you're saying there. Like, see, I bet you the training just completely stopped.
It was like proper. You could hear a pin drop, and I'm like, I'm fine. It was like I get told to wear one of the helmets, like Peter Check, and I'm like, I'm not wearing one of them. I'm not wearing one of them. Why? I said, because that just becomes a target. People will just want to throw elbows in my head and that. I don't really care. If I'm going to get hit in the head, I'm going to get hit in the head. It's as simple as that. I mean, it might sound blasé, but that's the way I rock.
And mate, you're here to tell you're here to tell the story. You know what I mean?
Do you know what I'm here?
Yeah. What I want to know. Did Jimmy Calderwood visit you when you were in hospital?
No, he didn't. He didn't. But he
fucking hell!
He was the paper.
He was my manager. He wasn't my manager at the time, but he contacted me numerous occasions, and it was Craig Brown who was the manager at the time, and Craig and Archie Knox were absolutely brilliant with me. Honestly, and the staff at Aberdeen were superb at the time, and they looked after me very, very well, and I was grateful I was in their top type of care and help. You know what I mean?
Tell us this one, right?
Aye.
Because Niall,
I know what you're going to ask.
I know, I'm choking to know.
No, but Grado, you can ask that one. I'm going to ask something else here, right? Niall McGinn touched on this. He says that Craig Brown lived above him, and Archie Knox lived below him. And he says there was a stream of women getting into Craig Brown's gaff, right? Is Craig Brown the shagger that we're led to believe that he is?
Should he have been top shagger in the Patreon teammates and questions?
Bro, he could be up there, aye. Oh no, he's just honestly one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. Do you know what I mean? And I can see whether he maybe attracts the other.
He's gorgeous, isn't he?
He's a big ride, isn't he?
He's brilliant.
So what is it before we go into the quiz, because we love that Archie Knox story.
Aye, Mark Reynolds
one.
Bunker
shitebag.
Oh, when he went Runners-Off.
Aye. What were you, Jamie? Were you spunk or were you shitebag?
Oh no, that was still to this day. I couldn't believe he done it. He just went round every single one. He's like, shite. Nay, spunk. You see that? Nay, spunk. Shite. Pointed at me and went like, don't know anything about goalkeeping. Shite. Then he turned round to Josh McGuinness and turned round and went like, you're the worst player, the worst football player I've ever seen in my entire career. You're fucking hopeless. You're shite. None of that. Shite. And you're like that. Big Josh started the next game. But it was brilliant. Archie's the only guy I know that could put his socks and shoes on before he put his trousers on. He used to do that. Proper old school.
That was the story, but was he no ball naked when he was staying spunker shitebag?
Ball naked. His towel was up to here. He'd have this white towel on up to here. And he'd just go around every day going, shite. That was the noise he made. Nice point.
Amazing. Absolutely superb, man. Superb. One of the best stories I've heard, honestly.
That's brilliant, man. So just before we let you go, Jamie, we do a 90-second quiz. Do you want to take your for here, Bob, or do you want me to keep going?
I'm still laughing at the spunker shitebag. Right, so, Jamie, every week on Football Daft, we put our guest Scottish football knowledge to the test with our 90-second quiz. Top of the leaderboard is John Sutton and Chick Young. Joint top on 15. Mark Wilson and Keith Lasler are tucked in behind with 14, while the good doctor Kenny Duker and Kevin Harper are just behind in third place with 13. Other selected scores include Andy Gorham on 8, Lee Miller 6, and Barry from EastEnders on 4. And at the bottom, it's a tie between Peter Lovenkrands, Derek Johnson, Craig Levine, and Mixu Patalainen. Anybody you'd like to beat on that list there, Jamie?
Mixu. Second bottom will do for me.
But you can't, Jamie, you can't pass. You must give an answer, right?
Right, okay.
It doesn't need to be the right answer, Jamie.
No.
Right, you can
Aye.
say whatever you want.
Do you want me to do the questions just to since Bob's
go
a wee
for
bit
it,
2
Dad.
seconds? Right, so
Go
you
for
can't
it.
pass. And Joe, you got your 90 seconds ready?
Yep.
Right. Right, and go. Connor Salmon currently plays for which Scottish club?
Falkirk.
What Scot is currently in charge of MK Dons?
Russell Martin.
Where did St Mirren finish in the Premiership last season?
8.
What was the score in your testimonial game?
1-0 Aberdeen.
Who left the air job this week?
Mark Kerr.
Who scored the only goal in a League Cup final at the weekend?
John Rooney.
Cristiano Ronaldo currently plays for which team?
Juventus.
How many appearances did you make for Raith Rovers while on loan?
12.
New Central Park is the home to which team?
County Beast.
What club was Thomas Tuchel at before Chelsea?
Hearts.
Which team? Which team? Which team did Rangers draw in the Europa League?
Slavia Prague.
When did St Mirren last win the Scottish Cup?
87.
And what season did you win the League Cup?
2014.
What Scottish Premiership have adopted "Love Is in the Air" as a song?
Dundee United.
Who is temporarily in charge at Inverness?
Neil McCann.
What club are nicknamed the Diamonds?
Airdrie.
What's the capacity of Hampden to the nearest 1,000?
59.
How many English Premiership sides play in claret and blue?
2.
Ran out of questions.
Oh my God, that's
I
never
was-
happened.
I was-
I think you might have won this, by the way. No.
Aye, but I just still can't believe fucking Thomas Tuchel left Hearts, man.
But listen, see when a big job at Chelsea comes up, you've got to take
Aye.
it.
I thought you said Thomas Logo.
To be fair, fucking Grado was stuttering like a fucking
know, man, I know.
shiting, shaking dog trying to answer it.
Right, so, Jamie, just a quick question, right? You said that you made 12 appearances for Raith Rovers. Was that including cup games?
Aye.
Right, okay.
Don't worry, I've
Getting
double
that.
checked this one this
Aye.
week. I've double checked
Have
this
you?
one. Let's go through your raw answers, Jamie. St Mirren finished 9th in the Premiership last season.
Ah, right.
Raith Rovers, now this is the one that I know why Chris was asking. I checked it would be at 5 appearances for Raith Rovers while on loan. Does that ring a bell?
Aye.
Right, okay. New Central Park is the home to Kelty Hearts, not Cowdenbeath, but it's Cowdenbeath
Right.
Central Park. Thomas Tuchel was PSG, no Hearts. Hamden,
Tomato.
Hamden capacity closest to 1,000 is 52,000, and there's 3 teams in the English Premiership playing claret and blue: Villa, Burnley, and West Ham. But totaling up the score, I think, looking up, you've just missed out on kind of joint third. You've got 12, Jamie.
Oh, that's
I'm happy with that.
That's
I'll
well
take
done,
that.
Jamie. That's good going, man. That's good
That is
going.
good going.
You beat Mixu.
Aye.
Anyway, what have you
And
got?
Barry for EastEnders. What a buzz, eh?
Jamie, I'm not just fucking, we don't say this a lot to our guests, like no blowing smoke, but this has been one of my favourite interviews, man,
Aye,
honestly.
without a doubt, man.
Really
Without a
has.
doubt.
Enjoyed
Well
it.
worth the wait, big man.
It's been worth waiting for. It's been worth waiting 13 months for me, honestly.
And,
I've
you've got
enjoyed
your-
it as well. Thank you very much for having me, guys.
Right, honestly, and I know we do say this from time to time, but I'm going to put my goalies in the vice. Jamie Langfield is one of my favourite guests we've ever had in this show. What do you think, boys?
It's funny, man, because we have tried to get him on for ages, but that's the kind of stuff we want to hear, man. And what I loved about it, man, all these wee stories that just kept popping up, and Oh,
It was worth waiting for, wasn't it?
See when we booked Langfield to come on, I didn't expect to hear about Fabrizio Ravanelli having a hangover
Sleeping
on
on
his
his
couch.
couch.
I mean,
Canija around the back of the goals when they're all training, just kicking the ball about with his wee boy, man.
But if you are a St Mirren fan, it looks like we've signed a contract, we've signed a deal. We've actually got some big players coming to football after the next couple of weeks. I don't know if John wants to announce next week's guest.
We're hoping to speak to David Martindale on next week's show. We've been in contact with Libby.
what the fuck's that got to do with St Mirren?
No, if you could just let me finish, and then also the following week, if things goes well, what's the term? I think all things going well.
If all things go to plan.
Then we should have Mr. Jim's Goodwins on the...
Jim's Goodwins.
Don't open that question.
The both of them.
Welcome to Football Daft. Jim's Goodwins.
Yes, and I think we might have Mr. Fabrizio Ravanelli at some point as well, because Clangers is going to get in touch with him.
I wonder if any of those boys watched football when they were growing up. Jim's Goodwins.
Jim's Goodwins.
Fabrizio, did you like football?
Aye, man. He's there, right? Hell, man.
Right, boys, honestly, it has been great, but it's 5:20. We win the next two games. Celtic need to go to Tannadice on Sunday.
Don't jinx us, man.
We're champions. I'm going to watch Rangers hopefully get 3 points, all right? And hopefully, if you've watched it, you've got a good stream on your Fire Stick anyway, boys. But I'm going to love yous and leave yous, right? And I'll speak to yous very soon. I've been Stephen Purden, and this has been Football Daft. Bye-bye.
See you later. He's a prick, isn't he?